The rain fell hard on the windows of Thornfield Manor. Inside the parlour, 3 women stood in a line. Each one wore a fine dress. Each one held her head high. Each one claimed to be Lady Catherine Hartwell, the lost bride of Lord Edmund Blackwood. Edmund stood by the fireplace. His dark hair was touched with silver at the temples. His jaw was tight. His eyes were tired. For 3 months, he had searched for his bride. They had married by proxy during the war. He had never seen her face. She had never seen his. Now the war was over, and he had come home to claim his wife. But she was gone. The first woman stepped forward. She had golden hair and blue eyes. "My lord, I am Catherine. I have waited so long for you." The second woman moved closer. She had dark curls and green eyes. "Do not listen to her lies. I am Catherine. I have your letters to prove it." The third woman said nothing. She stood at the end of the line. Her brown hair was pulled back in a simple bun. Her grey eyes looked at the floor. Her dress was plain and worn. She did not look like a lady at all. Edmund felt a heaviness in his chest. One of these women was his wife. One of them held the key to his future. But which one? His solicitor, Mr. Davies, cleared his throat. "My lord, we must determine the truth. The estate, the title, everything depends on finding the real Lady Blackwood." Edmund nodded. He had spent 5 years at war, 5 years of blood and death, and watching good men fall. He had held on to one hope during those dark days. He had a wife waiting at home. A woman who had agreed to marry him to save her family from ruin. He had written her letters. He had sent money. He had dreamed of the day he would meet her. But when he returned, her family was gone. The house was empty. No one knew where Catherine Hartwell had gone. And then these 3 women appeared, each one claiming to be his bride, each one with a story that almost made sense. "I will question each of you," Edmund said. His voice was rough from years of shouting orders on battlefields. "I will find the truth." The golden-haired woman smiled. "Of course, my lord. I am ready." But the third woman, the quiet one, looked up. For just a moment their eyes met. Edmund saw something there, something that made his heart beat faster. Then she looked away again. The quiet woman's name was Margaret. At least, that was what she told the other 2. In truth, she was Catherine Hartwell. She was the real bride, but she could not prove it. 5 years ago, her father had died. He left nothing but debts. Catherine's mother had died when she was born. She had no one. Then Lord Blackwood's solicitor came. He offered a marriage contract. Lord Blackwood needed a wife. Catherine needed money to pay her father's debts. It was a business arrangement, nothing more. Catherine signed the papers. She married a man she never met. Then Edmund went to war. She stayed in her father's house and waited. Every month money came. Every month she wrote letters. She never knew if he read them. He never wrote back. Then the debt collectors came anyway. They took everything. The house, the furniture, even her mother's jewelry. Catherine was left with nothing. She ran. She hid. She worked as a maid in different houses. She used different names. She was afraid the debt collectors would find her. She was afraid they would throw her in prison. Now Edmund had returned. Now he was looking for his wife. Catherine wanted to go to him. She wanted to claim her place. But she had no proof. The papers were gone. The solicitor who arranged the marriage was dead. Her father's house was sold. She had nothing but her word. And who would believe a woman in a worn dress? So she came to Thornfield Manor with a plan. She would pretend to be another woman claiming to be Catherine. She would watch. She would listen. She would find a way to prove the truth. But when she saw Edmund, something changed. He was not what she expected. He was tall and strong. His face was handsome but marked by war. His eyes were dark and full of pain. He looked like a man who had lost something precious. He looked lonely. Catherine felt a strange pull in her chest. This was her husband, a man she had never met. a man she had married for money. But now, seeing him, she felt something else, something that scared her. Edmund questioned the first woman in his study. Her name was Louisa Crane. She claimed to be Catherine Hartwell. She had papers. She had stories. She knew details about the marriage contract. "My father arranged everything," Louisa said. She sat with perfect posture. Her hands were folded in her lap. "You sent money every month. I wrote you letters about my life, about waiting for you." Edmund studied her face. "Tell me something that was in those letters." Louisa smiled. "I wrote about the garden, about the roses that bloomed every summer. I wrote about reading books by the window. I wrote about my hope that you would return safely." Edmund nodded slowly. Those things were general. Any woman could say them. "What else?" "I wrote about my mother's death, about being alone." Louisa's eyes filled with tears. "I wrote about how the marriage gave me hope, how I dreamed of the day we would meet." Edmund felt nothing. Her words were pretty, but they did not touch him. He dismissed her and called in the second woman. Her name was Helen Marsh. She had dark hair and sharp eyes. She spoke with confidence. "I am Catherine Hartwell. I can prove it." She placed letters on his desk. Edmund picked them up. They were addressed to Catherine Hartwell at her father's estate. But anyone could have gotten these letters. Anyone could have stolen them. "These prove nothing," Edmund said. Helen's eyes flashed. "I know things. Private things. I know you were wounded at Waterloo. I know you lost your brother in the war. I know you inherited the title when your father died 3 years ago." Edmund's jaw tightened. "Those facts are known by many people. Tell me something only my wife would know." Helen hesitated. I know you sent a special gift with the marriage contract. A ring. Your mother's ring." Edmund stood. "Many people knew about that ring. It was stolen 2 years ago." He walked to the window. "You are not Catherine Hartwell." Helen stood quickly. "You must believe me. I am your wife." "No," Edmund said quietly. "You are not." He had guards escort her out. She protested loudly, but Edmund did not listen. He sat at his desk and put his head in his hands. 2 false brides. 1 more to question. Then what? What if none of them were real? What if his Catherine was truly lost? A knock on the door made him look up. "Enter." The third woman walked in. She moved slowly. Her eyes were still on the floor. She stood before his desk and waited. Edmund studied her. She was different from the others. Her dress was shabby. Her hands were rough, like she had worked hard. Her face was pale. But there was something about her, something that called to him. "What is your name?" he asked. "Margaret," she said softly. "Margaret Hartwell." Edmund's heart jumped. "Sit down." She sat. She kept her hands in her lap. She did not look at him. "Tell me why you claim to be Catherine Hartwell." Margaret took a breath. "I do not have papers. I do not have proof. I only have my word, and I know that is not enough." Edmund leaned forward. "Then why are you here?" For the first time she looked up. Her gray eyes met his. "Because it is the truth." Something passed between them. Edmund felt it like a shock. He stood and walked around the desk. He sat in the chair next to her. "Tell me about the marriage contract." "It was arranged by Mr. Davies," Margaret said. "Your solicitor. My father had died. He left debts. I had no money. Mr. Davies said you needed a wife. He said you would pay the debts if I married you. So I did." Edmund nodded. "That is correct. But others could know this story. Tell me something personal, something only Catherine would know." Margaret closed her eyes. "You never wrote back to my letters, not once. I did not know if you read them. I did not know if you cared." Edmund felt shame burn in his chest. It was true. He had received letters. He had read them. But he never wrote back. He thought it was just a business arrangement. He did not think she wanted to hear from him. "What else?" he whispered. "I wrote about the rain," Margaret said. Her voice was soft. "I told you I liked to watch the rain on the windows. I said it made me feel less alone. I said maybe you were watching the same rain, somewhere far away." Edmund's breath caught. He remembered that letter. He had read it one night in his tent. It had made him feel something. Something he pushed away because he could not afford to feel. Not during war. "Who taught you to read?" he asked suddenly. Margaret looked at him in surprise. My mother. Before she died. I was very young." "What was her name?" "Anne. Anne Hartwell." Edmund stood and walked to his desk. He pulled out a drawer and took out a small wooden box. Inside was a miniature portrait. He brought it to Margaret. "Is this your mother?" Margaret took the portrait with shaking hands. Tears filled her eyes. Yes, this is her. Where did you get this?" "It was in your father's house. Mr. Davies saved it before the house was sold. He sent it to me." Edmund knelt beside her chair. Only Catherine would recognize this portrait. Only Catherine would know her mother's face. Margaret looked at him. Tears ran down her cheeks. "I am Catherine. I am your wife. But I have nothing. I have no proof. I have no family. I have nothing to offer you. I would not blame you if you sent me away." Edmund reached out slowly. He wiped a tear from her cheek with his thumb. His touch was gentle. "You have everything I need. You have the truth." The other two women were sent away. They left angry and shouting threats. But Edmund did not care. He had found his wife. His real wife. And now he did not know what to do with her. Catherine stood in the hallway. She looked lost. A maid waited nearby, unsure of what to do. Edmund cleared his throat. "Mrs. Dobson, please take Lady Blackwood to the blue room. Prepare a bath. Find her proper clothes." Mrs. Dobson, the housekeeper, curtsied. "Yes, my lord." She looked at Catherine with kind eyes. "Come with me, my lady." Catherine followed without a word. Edmund watched her go. He felt strange. For 5 years he had imagined this moment. He thought he would feel relief, victory. But instead, he felt confused. His wife was not what he expected. She was quiet, broken. She looked at him like she was afraid. That night, Edmund could not sleep. He paced his room. Down the hall, Catherine was in the blue room. She was his wife. By law, she could be in his room, in his bed, but he could not do that. Not yet. Not when she looked at him with such fear. He thought about the war. He thought about the things he had seen, the things he had done. He had killed men. He had watched friends die. He had become hard, cold. He had needed to be that way to survive. But now he was home. Now he had a wife. And he did not know how to be gentle anymore. A soft knock on his door made him turn. "Enter." Mrs. Dobson came in. She looked worried. "My lord, I thought you should know. Lady Blackwood, she has not eaten. She refused dinner. She just sits by the window." Edmund frowned. "Is she ill?" "I do not think so, my lord. I think she is frightened." Mrs. Dobson folded her hands. "She has been through much, I think. She needs time." Edmund nodded. "Thank you, Mrs. Dobson. I will speak with her in the morning." But when morning came, Edmund did not know what to say. He went to the breakfast room. Catherine was already there. She sat at the long table. Her plate was empty. She wore a new dress. It was blue and fit her well. Her hair was clean and styled. She looked beautiful. But she still would not meet his eyes. Edmund sat at the head of the table. "Good morning." "Good morning, my lord," Catherine said quietly. "Please, Call me Edmund. We are married." She nodded but said nothing. Edmund served himself food. He ate in silence. The quiet was heavy. He wanted to speak. He wanted to ask her questions, but he did not know where to start. Finally, he said, "Tell me what happened. After I went to war, where did you go?" Catherine's hands tightened in her lap. "The debt collectors came. They took everything. I ran. I worked in different houses as a maid. I used false names. I was afraid they would find me." "Why did you not write to me? Why did you not tell me?" "I did write, many times, but my letters were returned. I think the solicitor was already dead. There was no one to send them to." Catherine looked up. Her grey eyes were full of pain. "I thought you had forgotten me. I thought the marriage meant nothing to you." Edmund felt something crack in his chest. "I did not forget. I thought of you, more than I should have." Catherine looked surprised. "You did?" "Yes." Edmund stood. He walked to the window. "During the war, I held on to one thought. I had a wife at home, someone waiting for me. It gave me a reason to survive." He turned to look at her. "But I also thought it was just duty, just an arrangement. I did not think you would want more from me." Catherine stood slowly. "What do I want now? What do you want from me?" Edmund crossed the room. He stopped in front of her. "I want to know you. I want to try to make this marriage real, if you are willing." Catherine's eyes filled with tears. "I do not know how to be a wife. I do not know how to be a lady. I have nothing to give you." Edmund reached out. He took her hand gently. "You have already given me something precious. You have given me truth. That is more than enough." The days passed slowly. Catherine tried to adjust to her new life. The servants treated her with respect. Mrs. Dobson taught her how to manage the household. The cook asked her opinions on menus. It was all so strange. Catherine had spent years as a servant herself. She knew how to clean and cook and take orders. But now she was supposed to give orders. She was supposed to be the mistress of the house. It felt wrong. Edmund watched her struggle. He saw how she thanked the servants too much, how she tried to help carry things herself, how she ate small portions like she was afraid to take too much. It broke his heart. One afternoon he found her in the library. She stood before the shelves with wide eyes. Her fingers touched the spines of the books gently. "Do you like to read?" Edmund asked. Catherine jumped. She had not heard him come in. "Yes, my lord. Yes, Edmund. I used to read everything I could find." Edmund walked to the shelf. He pulled out a book. "This is my favorite. Poetry. Would you like to borrow it?" Catherine took the book carefully. "I may keep it?" "Of course. Everything here is yours now." Edmund smiled. It felt strange on his face. He had not smiled in a long time. Catherine opened the book. She read a few lines. Her face softened. "It is beautiful." Edmund watched her. He saw the way the afternoon light caught her hair. He saw the gentle curve of her neck. He saw how her lips moved as she read. Something stirred in his chest, something warm and unexpected. "Catherine," he said softly. She looked up. "Yes?" Would you like to walk in the garden with me?" Catherine hesitated. Then she nodded. "Yes, I would like that." They walked outside together. The garden was large and well kept. Roses bloomed along the paths. The sun was warm. Birds sang in the trees. Edmund offered his arm. Catherine took it carefully. They walked in silence for a while. Then Edmund said, "Tell me about yourself, your childhood, your dreams." Catherine thought for a moment. "I do not have many happy memories. My mother died when I was young. My father was kind but distant. He was always worried about money. I spent most of my time reading. Books were my escape. What did you dream about? Silly things. A home of my own, a garden, maybe children someday. Catherine blushed. But those were just dreams. Edmund stopped walking. He turned to face her. They do not have to be just dreams. You have a home now. This garden is yours. And children, he paused. That is up to you. I will not force anything on you. Catherine's eyes widened. She had been so afraid of this. She knew what marriage meant. She knew what duties a wife had. She had feared that Edmund would demand those things from her. But he was giving her a choice. Thank you, she whispered. Edmund touched her cheek gently. I am not a gentleman, Catherine. War made me hard. But I want to try. For you. I want to make you happy. Catherine felt tears burn her eyes. No one had ever said such things to her before. No one had ever cared about her happiness. I want to try too, she said. Edmund smiled again. This time it reached his eyes. Good. Then we will try together. Weeks passed. Catherine and Edmund spent more time together. They walked in the garden every afternoon. They ate meals together. They talked about books and music and small things. Catherine began to smile more. She began to relax. Edmund watched her bloom like a flower in sunlight. She was still quiet, still careful, but sometimes she laughed. Sometimes she teased him gently. And when she did, Edmund felt something he had not felt in years. He felt joy. One evening they sat in the drawing room. Catherine was reading. Edmund was supposed to be reading too, but he kept watching her instead. The firelight made her skin glow. Her hair fell softly around her face. She bit her lower lip when she concentrated. It was adorable. Catherine looked up and caught him staring. She blushed. Is something wrong? No. Edmund set down his book. I was just thinking. About what? About how lucky I am. Edmund leaned forward. I thought I would come home to nothing, but instead, I found you. Catherine's breath caught. Edmund. He moved to sit beside her on the sofa. Catherine, I need to tell you something. These past weeks with you have been the happiest of my life. You have brought light into my darkness. You have made this house feel like a home. Catherine's hands trembled. I have done nothing special. You are wrong. You have done everything. Edmund took her hand. You smile at the servants. You worry about the kitchen cat. You laugh at my terrible jokes. You make me want to be better. You make me feel human again. Tears ran down Catherine's cheeks. You have given me everything. A home. Safety. Kindness. I never thought I would have any of those things. Edmund wiped her tears with his thumb. You deserve all of it. And more. They sat close together. The fire crackled. Outside, the wind blew softly. Edmund looked at Catherine's lips. He wanted to kiss her. He wanted to hold her. But he waited. He would not rush this. He would not scare her. Catherine looked at him. She saw the want in his eyes. And she felt something stir inside her too. Something warm and new. She leaned closer. Edmund, she whispered, you may kiss me, if you want. Edmund's heart pounded. Are you sure? Yes. He leaned in slowly. His lips touched hers softly. It was gentle, sweet, perfect. Catherine's eyes closed. She felt warmth spread through her whole body. She had never been kissed before. She did not know it could feel like this. Edmund pulled back. He rested his forehead against hers. Catherine. My Catherine. She smiled. My Edmund. The kiss changed everything. Catherine and Edmund grew closer each day. They held hands when they walked. They sat close during meals. They shared soft kisses when no one was watching. The servants noticed. They smiled and whispered among themselves. Love had come to Thornfield Manor. But one day, a letter arrived. Edmund read it at breakfast. His face went dark. His jaw clenched. He stood abruptly. "I must go to London," he said. "There is business I must attend to." Catherine felt fear grip her chest. "How long will you be gone?" "A week, perhaps 2. Edmund came around the table. He took her hand. "I do not want to leave you, but this is important." "What is it?" Edmund hesitated. "Your father's debts. They are not fully settled. Someone is claiming money is still owed. I must deal with it." Catherine's face went pale. "The debt collectors?" "Do not worry. I will handle this." Edmund kissed her forehead. "You are safe here. I promise." But after he left, Catherine could not stop worrying. She paced the house. She barely ate. She kept looking out the windows as if danger would come at any moment. Mrs. Dobson found her in the library one afternoon. "My lady, you must rest. You will make yourself ill." "I cannot rest," Catherine said. "What if they come here? What if they find me?" "Lord Blackwood will protect you. He is a good man, a strong man." Mrs. Dobson patted her hand. "Have faith." But faith was hard when you had been running for so long. Catherine tried to stay calm. She tried to believe everything would be fine. But at night, she had nightmares. She dreamed of being dragged away, of being thrown in prison, of losing everything again. 5 days after Edmund left, a carriage arrived. Catherine was in the drawing room. She heard the commotion outside. Her heart stopped. She ran to the window. But it was not the debt collectors. It was Edmund. He had come home early. Catherine ran to the front door. Edmund was getting out of the carriage. He looked tired. But when he saw her, his face lit up. "Catherine!" She threw herself into his arms. She did not care that the servants were watching. She held him tight. "You came back." Edmund held her close. He buried his face in her hair. "Of course I came back. Did you think I would not?" "I was afraid." Catherine pulled back to look at him. "What happened? Are the debts settled?" "Come inside. I will explain everything." They went to his study. Edmund closed the door. He pulled Catherine to sit beside him on the sofa. He took both her hands. "The debts are settled," he said. "All of them. You are free. No one can touch you." Catherine's eyes filled with tears. "Truly?" "Truly. I made sure of it." Edmund touched her face. "But that is not why I came home early. I came home because I could not stay away. I missed you. Every moment I was gone, I thought of you. I needed to see you, to hold you." Catherine threw her arms around his neck. "I missed you too, so much. I was so afraid." Edmund held her tight. "You never have to be afraid again. I will always protect you. I will always come back to you." They stayed like that for a long time, just holding each other. Then Edmund pulled back. He looked into her eyes. "Catherine, I need to tell you something I should have said before." "What is it?" "I love you." Edmund's voice was rough with emotion. "I am in love with you, completely, desperately. I cannot imagine my life without you." Catherine's heart soared. "Edmund!" "You do not have to say it back. I know this is all still new. I just needed you to know. I needed to be honest." But Catherine was shaking her head. She was crying and laughing at the same time. "You foolish man. I love you too. I have loved you for weeks. I was just too afraid to say it." Edmund's eyes widened. "You love me?" "Yes, with all my heart." He kissed her then. Not gently this time. He kissed her with all the passion and love he had been holding back. Catherine kissed him back. She poured all her feelings into that kiss, all her love and relief and joy. When they finally pulled apart, they were both breathing hard. Edmund rested his forehead against hers. "Marry me." Catherine laughed. "We are already married." "I know, but marry me again, properly this time, with a church and flowers and everyone we know watching. I want the world to know you are mine. I want to make vows to you while looking in your eyes." Catherine's heart was so full she thought it might burst. "Yes, yes, I will marry you again. 1,000 times, yes." The next weeks were a blur of happiness. Plans were made for the wedding. Catherine chose flowers. She picked out a dress. She wrote invitations. Edmund watched her with adoring eyes. He loved seeing her excited. He loved seeing her dream about their future. But there was still something between them, something unspoken. They kissed often. They held each other close, but they had not yet shared a bed. Catherine was still afraid, and Edmund would not push. One night, after another sweet evening together, Catherine lay in her bed alone. She thought about Edmund. She thought about how much she loved him. She thought about how safe he made her feel, and she realized something. She was ready. She wanted to be his wife in every way. She got up. She put on her robe. She walked down the hall to Edmund's room. She knocked softly. "Come in." Catherine opened the door. Edmund was standing by the window. He wore only his shirt and trousers. When he saw her, his eyes widened. "Catherine, is something wrong?" "No." Catherine closed the door behind her. "Nothing is wrong, I wanted to see you." Edmund's breath caught. He understood what she was saying. "Catherine, you do not have to." "I want to." Catherine walked to him. She took his hands. "I love you, Edmund. I want to be your wife, truly, completely." Edmund searched her face. "Are you certain?" "I have never been more certain of anything." He pulled her close. He kissed her softly. "I will be gentle, I promise." "I know." Catherine smiled up at him. "I trust you." Edmund lifted her in his arms. He carried her to the bed. He laid her down gently, and then he showed her, with tenderness and love, what it meant to truly belong to someone, what it meant to be cherished, what it meant to be loved completely. Afterwards, they lay tangled together. Catherine's head was on Edmund's chest. She could hear his heartbeat. It was strong and steady, like him. "I never want to leave this bed," she said sleepily. Edmund laughed. It was a warm, happy sound. "Neither do I, but eventually we must eat." Catherine looked up at him. "I am so happy. I did not know life could be like this." Edmund kissed her forehead. "Neither did I. You have given me everything, Catherine. You have healed wounds I thought would never close. You have brought joy back into my life." "You have saved me," Catherine said. "In every way a person can be saved." They fell asleep in each other's arms, and for the first time in years, neither of them had nightmares. They only had dreams of the future, together. The wedding was planned for the end of the month. Catherine was happier than she had ever been. She spent her days with Edmund. They rode horses together. They walked in the garden. They made love in the afternoons when the house was quiet. Life was perfect. But perfection never lasts. One morning, a woman arrived at Thornfield Manor. She was older, perhaps 50. She had sharp eyes and a cold smile. The butler showed her into the drawing room where Catherine was having tea. "Lady Blackwood," the woman said, "I am Mrs. Violet Crane. I believe you have met my daughter Louisa." Catherine's blood ran cold. Louisa Crane, one of the false brides. "What do you want?" Mrs. Crane sat down without being invited. "I want what is rightfully ours. My daughter should be Lady Blackwood, not you." "Your daughter lied. I am Lord Blackwood's true wife." "Are you?" Mrs. Crane smiled. It was not a kind smile. "I have proof that you are not Catherine Hartwell at all. I have proof that you are an impostor, a servant girl who stole a lady's identity." Catherine's heart pounded. "That is not true." "Is it not? Tell me, where are your papers, your proof? You had none when you came here. Lord Blackwood took your word, but word is not enough, not in the eyes of the law. Lord Blackwood believes me. That is all that matters. Mrs. Crane leaned forward. But what will society believe? What will they think when I spread the word that the great Lord Blackwood married a lying servant? His reputation will be ruined. The scandal will destroy him. Catherine felt sick. What do you want? Leave him. Disappear. Go back to whatever hole you crawled out of. Let my daughter take her rightful place. Do this, and I will stay silent. Refuse, and I will tell everyone the truth. I will show them what you really are. A nobody. A nothing. Catherine stood on shaking legs. Get out of my house. Mrs. Crane stood too. Think about it, girl. Think about what your presence will do to him. He is a lord. He needs a proper wife. Not a servant pretending to be a lady. You will destroy him. Is that what you want? To ruin the man you claim to love? Mrs. Crane left. Catherine stood alone in the drawing room. Her hands were shaking. Her mind was racing. What if Mrs. Crane was right? What if Catherine's presence would ruin Edmund? What if society found out the truth? Edmund had fought so hard to build his life after the war. Could Catherine really let her past destroy everything he had worked for? Edmund came home to find Catherine packing. She had a small bag on the bed. She was putting her old, worn clothes inside. Catherine, what are you doing? She did not turn around. I am leaving. Edmund's world stopped. What? Why? Mrs. Crane came today. She said she would tell everyone I am a fraud. She said I would ruin you. Catherine's voice was flat. She is right. I have no proof of who I am. Society will never accept me. I will only bring you shame. Edmund crossed the room in 3 strides. He grabbed the bag and threw it on the floor. No, you are not leaving. I do not care what that woman said. But I care. Catherine finally looked at him. Her eyes were red from crying. I love you, Edmund. I love you so much it hurts. And because I love you, I cannot let you throw your life away for me. You are my life. Edmund took her face in his hands. Do you not understand? Without you, I have nothing. You are everything to me. But society... Damn society! Edmund's voice was fierce. I do not care what they think. I do not care what they say. You are my wife. You are Catherine Hartwell. You are Lady Blackwood. And nothing and no one will change that. Catherine shook her head. You say that now. But when the scandal comes, when people turn away from you, you will regret it. You will regret me. Never. Edmund pulled her close. Listen to me. I spent 5 years in hell. I watched men die. I killed. I suffered. I lost pieces of my soul. But then I came home and found you. You gave me back my humanity. You made me feel whole again. Do you really think I would give that up for the approval of people I do not even care about? But you have worked so hard. I worked hard to survive, to come home, to find something worth living for. And I found it. I found you. Edmund kissed her forehead. Please, Catherine, do not leave me. Do not take away the only good thing in my life. Catherine sobbed. I am so afraid. Afraid that I will ruin everything. Afraid that you will wake up one day and realize you made a mistake. The only mistake I could make is letting you go. Edmund held her tight. We will face this together. Whatever comes, we will face it together. I promise you. Catherine wanted to believe him. She wanted to be brave. But years of being told she was worthless had left scars. Deep scars that whispered she was not good enough, that she did not deserve happiness. I need time, she whispered. I need to think. Edmund's heart broke, but he nodded. Take all the time you need, but know this. I am not giving up on you. I am not giving up on us. No matter what you decide, I will always love you. Catherine spent 3 days alone in her room. She did not eat. She barely slept. She tormented herself with thoughts of what could happen. Edmund would be ruined. He would hate her. He would regret ever meeting her. But another voice whispered too, a small voice that sounded like hope. What if he meant what he said? What if love really was enough? What if she could be brave, just this once? On the third day, Mrs. Dobson came to her room. "My lady, you must eat something." "I am not hungry." Mrs. Dobson sat on the bed. "Lord Blackwood is suffering. He stands outside your door every night. He does not sleep. He barely eats. He is wasting away." Catherine's heart clenched. "I do not mean to hurt him." "Then stop." Mrs. Dobson took her hand. "My lady, I am just a servant, but I have been in this house for 30 years. I knew Lord Blackwood's parents. I knew him as a boy. I watched him go off to war, and I watched him come home broken. But then you came, and I watched him heal. You did that. You brought him back to life. Do not take that away now." "But what if I am not enough? What if the sky falls? What if the world ends?" Mrs. Dobson shook her head. "My lady, you cannot live your life in fear of what might happen. You must choose, love or fear. Which will you let win?" Catherine looked at the older woman. "Love," she whispered. "I choose love." Mrs. Dobson smiled. "Good. Now get up. Wash your face. Go to him. He is waiting." Catherine found Edmund in the garden. He was standing by the roses. He looked thin, tired, sad. When he heard her footsteps, he turned. Hope and fear warred on his face. "Catherine." She walked to him slowly. When she reached him, she took his hands. "I am sorry. I am so sorry I doubted us. I doubted you." Edmund pulled her into his arms. He held her so tight she could barely breathe. "You came back." "I never really left. I was just afraid." Catherine pulled back to look at him. "But I am not afraid anymore. Or maybe I am still afraid, but I am choosing to be brave anyway. I am choosing you. I am choosing us." Edmund's eyes filled with tears. "You will not leave?" "Never. I promise. We will face whatever comes together." He kissed her then, a deep, desperate kiss that said everything words could not. When they pulled apart, he rested his forehead against hers. "I will not let anyone hurt you. I will not let anyone take you from me." "I know," Catherine smiled, "because you are mine, and I am yours, and nothing can change that." The next day, Edmund called for Mrs. Violet Crane. She came to Thornfield Manor with a smug smile on her face. She thought she had won. Edmund met her in the drawing room. Catherine stood beside him. She held her head high. She would not cower any more. "Mrs. Crane," Edmund said coldly, "I understand you have been threatening my wife." Mrs. Crane smiled. "Not threatening, simply offering advice. This girl is not suitable to be Lady Blackwood. My daughter—" "Your daughter is a liar and a fraud," Edmund cut her off. "And so are you. You came here hoping to profit from my desperation. You thought I would be fooled. You were wrong." Mrs. Crane's smile faltered. "You have no proof of anything." "Actually, I do." Edmund pulled out a letter. "I have been investigating. I know that you stole letters from Catherine's father's estate. You gave them to your daughter. You coached her on what to say. You tried to steal a title and fortune that did not belong to you." Mrs. Crane's face went pale. That is not true." "It is true, and I have witnesses who will swear to it in court." Edmund stepped forward. "You have two choices. You can leave now and never return, or I can have you arrested for fraud and theft. Choose wisely." Mrs. Crane looked between Edmund and Catherine. She saw the determination in their faces. She knew she had lost. "You will regret this, both of you. Society will never accept her. Then we will make new society, Edmund said. Now get out of my house, and if you ever threaten my wife again, you will regret it. Mrs. Crane left in a fury. Catherine let out a shaky breath. Edmund turned to her. Are you all right? I am perfect, Catherine smiled. Because you fought for me. You defended me. Always, Edmund said. Always and forever. 2 weeks later, they had their wedding. It was small but beautiful. Just close friends and loyal servants. Catherine wore a white dress with lace and flowers in her hair. Edmund wore his finest clothes. He could not take his eyes off her. They stood before the priest in the small chapel on the estate. The sun shone through the stained glass windows. Everything was perfect. Do you, Edmund Alexander Blackwood, take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife? The priest asked. Edmund looked into Catherine's eyes. I do, with all my heart. And do you, Catherine Anne Hartwell, take this man to be your lawfully wedded husband? Catherine's voice was strong and clear. I do, with all my heart and soul. They exchanged rings. Edmund's hands trembled as he slid the golden band onto her finger. Catherine did the same for him. Their hands held tight. I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss your bride. Edmund pulled Catherine close. He kissed her softly at first, then deeper. The small crowd clapped and cheered, but Edmund and Catherine only had eyes for each other. I love you, Edmund whispered against her lips. I love you too, Catherine whispered back. That night, they had a small celebration. There was music and dancing and food. Catherine laughed more than she ever had in her life. Edmund danced with her 3 times. He did not care what anyone thought. He only cared about making her smile. Later, when the guests had gone home, Edmund and Catherine walked in the garden. The moon was full, the stars were bright, everything was peaceful. Are you happy? Edmund asked. Happier than I ever thought possible. Catherine leaned her head on his shoulder. Sometimes I cannot believe this is real, that you are real. I am very real, and so is this. Edmund stopped walking. He turned to face her. Catherine, I want to tell you something. Something important. What is it? When I was a boy, maybe 7 or 8, I used to hide from my tutors. I had a special place, a secret place where no one could find me. Catherine smiled. Where was it? Edmund pointed to a large oak tree at the edge of the garden. There is a hollow in that tree, just big enough for a small boy to squeeze into. I would hide there for hours, reading books, eating stolen biscuits, dreaming of adventures. Why are you telling me this? Edmund took her hands. Because no one knows about that place. Not my parents, not my brother, not my tutors. I never told anyone. It was my secret. Understanding dawned on Catherine's face. The other women, the false brides. You could have asked them about the hiding place. They would not have known. Exactly, Edmund smiled. But I did not need to ask you, because you already knew. Catherine's eyes widened. The letters. I wrote about watching you as a boy. I wrote about seeing you climb that tree and disappear. I thought you were running away. It made me laugh. You wrote about it, which meant you truly were Catherine Hartwell. You truly did live at the estate near mine. You truly were watching me. Edmund pulled her close. You were always meant to be mine, even when we were children. Fate was already bringing us together. Catherine felt tears stream down her face. I was so lonely as a child, watching you play, watching you laugh. It gave me joy. I used to imagine we were friends, that we played together. We are more than friends now. Edmund wiped her tears. We are partners. We are lovers. We are husband and wife. We are everything to each other. Yes, Catherine breathed. Everything. Edmund led her back to the house, up the stairs, to their bedroom. Not his room or her room anymore. Their room, where they would sleep together every night for the rest of their lives. That night, they made love slowly, tenderly. They explored each other like they had all the time in the world, because they did. They had forever. Afterwards, Catherine lay in Edmund's arms. "Tell me about the war," she said softly. "Tell me what you never told anyone else." Edmund was quiet for a long moment. Then he began to speak. He told her about the fear, the blood, the friends he lost, the men he killed, the nightmares that still haunted him. He told her everything. And Catherine listened. She held him. She cried with him. She kissed his scars, both the ones on his body and the ones on his soul. She showed him that he was not broken. He was whole, because they were together. "You saved me," Edmund said when he finished. "I thought I was too damaged to ever be happy again. But you proved me wrong." "We saved each other," Catherine said. "I was lost and alone. You gave me a home, a family, a purpose. You gave me love." They fell asleep tangled together, two broken people who had found healing in each other's arms, two lost souls who had finally come home. 6 months later, Catherine stood in the garden. Her hand rested on her stomach. She was not showing yet, but she knew. She had known for a few weeks. She was carrying Edmund's child. She heard footsteps behind her. She turned to see Edmund walking toward her. He smiled when he saw her, that smile that was only for her. "What are you doing out here?" he asked. "It is getting cold." "I was just thinking." Catherine took his hand. "Edmund, I have something to tell you." He saw the nervous excitement on her face. "What is it?" "We are going to have a baby." Edmund froze. His eyes went wide. "A baby? Truly?" "Truly." Edmund let out a shout of joy. He picked Catherine up and spun her around. She laughed and clung to him. When he set her down, he kissed her deeply. "I am going to be a father," he said in wonder. "And I am going to be a mother," Catherine smiled. "Are you happy?" "Happy?" Edmund laughed. "Catherine, I am beyond happy. I do not even have words." He knelt down. He pressed his face to her stomach. "Hello, little one. I am your father. I cannot wait to meet you. I promise to love you, to protect you, to teach you everything I know. And your mother is the most wonderful woman in the world. You are so lucky to have her." Catherine ran her fingers through his hair. Tears ran down her face. She had never imagined this, never dared to dream of such happiness. But here it was, real and solid, and hers. Edmund stood and held her close. "Thank you. Thank you for giving me this, for giving me everything." "You gave me everything first," Catherine said. "You believed in me when no one else did. You loved me when I thought I was unlovable. You made me believe I deserved happiness." "You deserve everything good in this world," Edmund kissed her forehead, "and I will spend the rest of my life making sure you have it." They stood in the garden together, holding each other as the sun set. Two people who had been lost and broken. Two people who had found each other against all odds. Two people who had proven that love, true love, could heal any wound and overcome any obstacle. Catherine thought about the scared girl who had come to Thornfield Manor months ago. The girl who had nothing and no one. The girl who thought she would never be enough. That girl was gone now. In her place was a woman, a wife, soon to be a mother, a woman who knew her worth, a woman who was loved. And as Edmund held her close and whispered promises of forever, Catherine finally understood. She had always been enough. She had always been worthy. She just needed to find someone who could see it, someone who could love her the way she deserved to be loved. She had found that in Edmund, and he had found it in her. Together, they had built something beautiful, a love that would last a lifetime, a family that would grow and flourish, a home filled with joy and laughter and everything they had ever dreamed of. The three false brides had not known where Edmund hid as a child, but Catherine knew. She had always known, because she had been watching him even then. Fate had connected them long before they met, and now nothing would ever tear them apart. They walked back to the house hand in hand. Their future stretched before them, bright and full of promise, and they walked toward it together, just as they would walk through every day of their lives, together, always together.